Their answer is we are completely unworried. Completely unworried about whether you like it or not. There is no doubt that the continuation of oil being purchased by India, that continuation will lead to further tariffs. But the tariffs are about getting them to come to the table with a deal so Trump can announce that a deal has been done. And when the deal is done, they can then look at China and say, you're next. That's what all this is about. Meanwhile, with Russia, there was a drone attack near the border as Stephen Witkoff, the Middle East envoy, is in Russia speaking with Vladimir Putin. So we're talking about just, I guess last night, depending on how you look at these time zone things, Russian forces launching a drone attack on civilian infrastructure in the Izmail area of Ukraine. That's in the vicinity of the border with Romania, which would tell you that there's nothing that the Russians feel like they're done with. They don't have any feeling that they should be slowing down, stopping, that they should be engaged in some posture of trying to find peaceful resolution. None. Zero. And if you don't know where this area is, which is absolutely okay, I do suggest a map. You head to the Black Sea. Now, we understand where Crimea is and where some of these bridges that have been destroyed and the Sea of Azov. So you've got the Sea of Azov, you've got Crimea, you've got the Black Sea. To the western part of the Black Sea, you have got parts of Ukraine, you've got the nation of Moldova, and then you have the larger nation of Romania, which borders Hungary, it borders Serbia and Bulgaria, it borders Ukraine. So right there, near the Black Sea, is where this attack took place, this drone attack. So you would argue from the south, if you're taking a look at it, regarding how Ukraine would see it. And I would think almost a straight shot, well, not a straight shot, still a pretty good distance from Kyiv itself. The Russians are not stopping on any war footing in dealing with Ukraine. They have no interest in stopping. This is to the further consternation of President Trump, who is absolutely trying beyond trying to bring the Russians to the table for a peace deal. Every drone attack is one step further away. This move by the Russians caused NATO to scramble fighter jets. They scrambled F-16s. The radar systems detected air targets in Ukrainian space close to the border. The population in the northern of this county engaged a warning, something called RO Alert, which is Romania's emergency warning system. F-16s took off to monitor the national airspace, but no unauthorized intrusions were detected. They struck oil and gas pipelines in parts of Ukraine. Now, you're Donald Trump, and you're trying your darndest to be able to live up to your own promise to put an end to a fight because you already took the hard line with Vladimir Zelensky, the very hard line. What I'm saying is that Zelensky ain't your problem. And I think this is now a rather obvious thing to see. Putin's your problem. You're already showing up, hey, here are our subs. No, those nuclear submarines we have the very, very best of, without question. And by the way, we have the very, very best of everything is a true statement. Here they are. Now they're going to go underwater again. Let's see if you can figure out where they show up next. That was a move. I'm not opposed to that move. That's a good move, a smart move. You have Medvedev basically saying your conversations are an act of war, and Trump says, I'll give you my war right here. It's a way of stopping the thing before it starts, before it escalates, letting the world know that you're not going to be intimidated, which is a very, very important thing to do because Russia only has one speed, which is this speed. This intimidation speed, this who can they push around speed, this, ramp up, gin up the rhetoric speed, this let me get back to my KGB heyday kind of speed. So you got to thwart those things. And again, I'll remind you that the Chinese are not going to get involved. They're not. They have no interest in getting involved. And then there is breaking news, according to Fox News and Newsmax, there's a lockdown at Fort Stewart in Georgia due to an active shooter incident. So we got a lot. And in all of this, the subpoenas for Bill and Hillary Clinton. Those things matter. I will get to that story coming up. Keep it here. I'm Tony Katz, and this is Tony Katz Today. Saying it's there. Anything about this shooting in Georgia? Please get me information as soon as you can. Guys, welcome back. Sorry about the audio thing at first. Tony Katz Today. Didn't realize I had hit a mute button. That is my fault. I'm trying to get a little more information about this lockdown. And once I get that, I will give that to you. Looking for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Maybe they've got some. No, they don't have any. Yeah, they have a lockdown. Okay, I've got some basic information from them about casualties being reported. So we'll have that story for you. And don't forget, tickets are for sale. Me, actor Nick Searcy, in Westfield, Indiana. It's going to be an incredible, incredible night from Hollywood to the Heartland. He's got a great story. He's an actor. in front of the camera, behind the camera, the documentaries he made about January 6th, and now living in the Midwest. Why? How does that come to be? Why does it matter? It matters greatly. It's going to be a great night. Bourbon from West Fork Whiskey. I've got barbecue from Big Hoffa's Barbecue. I've got cigars. Going to be an amazing night. Tickets.tonykatz.com. You want to get your tickets as soon as you can. Tickets.tonykatz.com. Make that happen. Get your tickets. Come join us August 23rd. Tickets.tonykatz.com. Myself, Nick Searcy, bourbon, cigars, food. It's going to be great. Get your tickets. So here's the latest. This from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, and information can change. Tony Katz today. Good to be with you. Casualties have been reported. This is a shooting at Fort Stewart. So Fort Stewart is southeast Georgia, is what we have here. Not too familiar with the area of Fort Stewart, Georgia, and what surrounds it. I'm looking that up right now. So this is the eastern coast of Georgia, southwest of Savannah, a little closer to Savannah than it would be, let's say, to Brunswick, Georgia, certainly a distance away from Jacksonville. Casualties have been reported. As we stated, the base, U.S. Army base, placed under lockdown at about 11 a.m. local time, so that would be Eastern Standard Time. The gates are closed, and the incident, according to the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, occurring in the 2nd Armored Brigade Combat Team area. That is all the information that I have at this time. Right now, while there is notification that the lockdown has taken place, I don't have other information. Fort Stewart, the largest Army post east of the Mississippi River. It is not known, according to an Army spokesperson, Lieutenant Colonel Angel Tomko, telling the Associated Press it's not known whether there is anybody who has been injured, although the Atlanta Journal-Constitution refers to the fact that there are casualties. They can have this information confused. They could be using one word for another. I'm giving you the basics of what we have here in a breaking story. Do not take this as the gospel. Information changes in these situations all of the time. Very rarely is the first reporting the right reporting. We do know this has happened. We do know that there is a lockdown. I will get you more information as the information becomes available. Subpoenas for Bill Clinton, subpoenas for Hillary Clinton. I am thrilled. These are subpoenas regarding Jeffrey Epstein testimony. Good. Fantastic. Excellent. Former attorneys general getting subpoenaed? Great. William Barr? Terrific. Loretta Lynch? Terrific. Eric Holder? Great. Former FBI directors, James Comey and Robert Mueller? Fantastic. Although I'm not so sure what it is that Robert Mueller is going to be able to remember, never mind say. Remember, he was giving his testimony regarding the Mueller investigation, and he sounded like a guy who didn't know which end was up. He did not sound like a guy who had it all together. So I have no idea. This all coming from the House Oversight Committee, James Comer of Kentucky, the chairman. Will they actually testify? I can't say that is possible. I can't say that they're going to show up. I also want to be clear that showing up, that testifying is, I mean, just being subpoenaed, never mind testifying, is absolutely not a sign of guilt. Now, this is different than the grand jury conversation regarding Tulsi Gabbard and what she gave to the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, regarding Russia, 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 and those lies. To that end, I'm already telling you that Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama and James Comey and John Brennan and James Clapper, these people are guilty. They did it. They engaged a lie. They engaged a cover-up. And so is the media. You don't ever tell me that Jake Tapper is somebody worthy of respect. Stop it. Jake, I only hope you're listening. Good God, look what you did. Look how terrible you are. You didn't have to be. You bought it hook, line, and sinker. Do not tell us, well, I was there asking the tough questions, like you were asking the tough questions of Joe Biden and his mental acuity. No, but you certainly wrote the book and you tried to make money off of it. I really hope you made nothing. I know that's not the case, but I truly hope you made zero. I truly hope that your reputation took the hit. Not that you ever had a good reputation, but that people know the truth about you. Terrible work, Jake. And you're not alone. Don't think that I'm picking on you, although I admit I don't like you on a very personal level. When people are taking hits on social media, maybe you should look into why that's happening as opposed to saying, hey, how can I pile on for clicks? I told you it was personal. Absolutely it was. But it would have been better if you weren't such an absolutely horrific reporter. At least when you talked about Louis Farrakhan, you were honest and clear and forthright. It was always respected. After that, you fell apart because, I don't know, the money was good and looking the other way was good. And you're just emblematic of all of these people who all sided with Hillary Clinton and gave in-kind donations through your non-reporting. Guilty. Which is why you are not to be trusted, and MSNBC is not to be trusted, and the New York Times is not to be trusted. The New York Post is the paper of record. By the way, Trump should say so. That's something Trump hasn't done yet. Trump should absolutely be in on the conversation that the New York Times is not the paper of record and should not be taken seriously, because they should not be taken seriously. They should not be trusted because they're not trustworthy at all. So we have two different things happening here. When it comes to Epstein, just want information like you do. And these lefties screaming and yelling, oh, the Republicans don't want to put out information because, oh, Trump's all over these files. Lots of people are all over these files. That's not a problem. You are not guilty because you are in the files. You're guilty because you engaged in the sexual abuse of children. See the difference? You're guilty because you saw the sexual abuse of children and you said nothing. You're not guilty for being listed on a piece of paper somewhere. You're just not. Now, this has led to a weird conversation that somehow, based on the Epstein files, there's big moves afoot. And the big moves are that J.D. Vance, the Vice President of the United States, and Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, and Kash Patel, the leader there over at the FBI, they are going to huddle in a strategy session. They're huddling up. They're going to have dinner at the Vice President's residence to talk about an Epstein strategy meeting. First, I can't believe I wasn't invited. I can't believe it. I mean, what I don't know what they're going to have. By the way, what are they going to have for dinner? I'm also curious about that. But you know, I should be there. I'm the glue that holds this social group together, and everybody knows it. But what exactly do you think they're going to huddle about? The Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche will be there as well. According to sources, Susie Wiles, the Chief of Staff, will be there. First things first, I don't know what fallout they could even begin to prepare for. What can be said is that they did this to themselves. This stuff should have been already coming out bit by bit and piece by piece. They never should have engaged this nonsense that Pam Bondi did with handing out binders to so-called influencers. They're not influencers. Good Lord, half those people you shouldn't listen to, and the other half of those people you maybe should not listen to all the time. And they might say the same thing about me. I don't know. Influencers. I don't know what to do with that. Then someone might say I'm an influencer, and I'll say to you, that's adorable. But you hand out these binders to these people, and they're like, look, we've got this special information. There was nothing in that. There was nothing special there. Now, why isn't the information released? You look like you're hiding something. So you screwed that all up, Pam Bondi, Attorney General. And then President Trump goes into, why are we talking about this? And then conservatives, not all, some who I thought that being loyal to Trump was more important than knowing who was abusing children. Is not that they like abusing children or approve of it, but they thought it was more important to be loyal to Trump. That did happen. Yeah, we shouldn't be paying attention to this. This isn't a big deal. And the rest of us said, what the hell, it ain't a big deal. What, are you out of your mind? And the pushback was so great that Trump realized, well, I guess it's a big deal. It's a very rare miss for Donald Trump. So now we're here. Maybe we'll see some information, and they're allegedly huddling. I don't know. I would assume that Kash Patel and the Attorney General get together often. I would assume that the director of the FBI and the Attorney General, Deputy Attorney General speak. So I don't know what makes this some level of emergency, whatever. Names are going to be in there. It's going to be embarrassing for some people. But they're going to be Democrat names too. Can we put all that aside, see who is abusing children, and throw them in jail? It's all any of us have ever asked. This is Tony Katz today. My cigar keeps going out. That's no good. No good at all. Oh, I missed some comments. Sorry about that, guys. Good to be with you. Yes, sycophants are a dangerous bunch on any side. That is absolutely true. If I'm going to make them a brisket, which I would, I get to sit at the table. And no one gets a brisket for free, boo-boo. If I make a brisket, you will entertain me or you will pay me. Them be the rules. So this is my Opus X Society military lighter right there. That's it says Fuente on it, right? So that's that. I'm not much of a collector of lighters, but I do have the matching cutter right there. Let me see, right. So that's from the Opus X Society. I don't usually get their stuff. I find the cigars to be just too expensive for what they are. I didn't say they weren't good, just not where I want to put my price point. But they do make some beautiful, beautiful things. And I had a gift card to a local tobacconist shop, and I'm like, you know what? I'll get the set. I'll be done. I have two different sets. Yeah. When it comes to cutters, cigar cutters, I believe in spending the money. Spend real money on a cigar cutter, because if you have a poor cigar cutter and not a sharp cigar cutter, something that keeps its blade, you're gonna crush your cigars more than cut them, and you're gonna hurt the cigar, and it's gonna be infuriating. Fire, a flame, a light is a light is a light. This lighter right here with a little chain on it for the cap, it's out of juice right now. I gotta put some in there, some butane in there. This was Kroger, $6.99. Does the same job as this. This is a beautiful piece. I'm glad I have it, right? I have a couple of pieces. Okay, that's enough. You could hand this piece down. This is an unbelievable gift, and you could give it, keep it in the family, the whole thing. This works. Fire, unless it's something you really want, something that's really attractive to you, you in no way have to spend money on that. It's not necessary. Now, you may like a single torch versus a quad, which has 4 different lighters on it, or you might do it with 3 or 2, depending on what you like, depending on indoors or outdoors weather, things like that. But the idea that you have to spend hundreds on a lighter, no, you do not. So don't do that, if you would. Just trying to help you. Just trying to help you save the money, boo-boo. That's all I'm saying. All right. What do we have now? Let's see if we have updates on this shooting. I don't yet. Keep an eye on that, producer Landon. See, Governor Kemp is calling it a tragedy. Okay, I have a little bit of an update. Here, I will get that to you. So we've got some updates on this active shooter. The governor, Brian Kemp, is now speaking about it. Tony Katz today. Good to be with you. Everything's going to change. Whether you're hearing the show live, whether you're getting the show in the podcast, wherever you might be hearing it around the country, information changes. So it was the first information that broke as we learned of this shooting at Fort Stewart, which is in Georgia. It is to the southeast of Georgia. It is southwest of Savannah. Is where you find this. So that's first. Just as an idea of where these things are, of where to look for this stuff. That's number one. Secondly, this was reported as an active shooter situation where there were casualties, according to the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. At first, Newsmax did not share word of casualties, only that the incident had taken place. Now we are hearing of 4 people, 1, 2, 3, 4 people taken to the hospital, 1 suspect identified. Now, identified is different than taken into custody. I do not have yet that anybody has been taken into custody. The governor of Georgia, Brian Kemp, briefed on the shooting, putting out a statement on social media. We are keeping the victims, their families, and all those who answer the call to serve in our hearts and prayers. And we ask that Georgians everywhere do the same. Representative Buddy Carter saying, I am monitoring the situation at Fort Stewart. Please join me in prayers for the casualties, their families, and the brave law enforcement officers working to protect our community. Another statement from Representative Mike Collins. This would lead one to believe that things are serious, but we don't have the data yet. Fort Stewart is the largest Army installation east of the Mississippi River, over 279,000 acres. The population in 2020, according to News Nation, was over 8,800 people. That's on the base. 35,000 in the city of what's known as Hinesville, Hinesville. That's where we're located, right there in the city of Hinesville. So this is the update on the shooting. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution saying it took place at the 2nd Armored Brigade Combat Team area. It's all we've got. It is all we know. I not going to speculate on a motive, not going to speculate on who. I don't have any of those answers, nor am I going to get into where some of the talk is regarding what may or may not still be occurring on base. There will be a lot of conversation about what we do to keep soldiers safe while they're on the base. Just like there's been a lot of conversation about how we keep America safe. Certainly when it comes to the border, we are doing an outrageously good job. An incredible job is being done. The border is better than ever. The border is getting into a place where we're seeing no one come in and people going out. We're getting into negative numbers of migration. And if that's the case on illegal immigration, fantastic. On legal immigration, I want people who want to be actually in the country. I want people who want to be in the country. This is, for example, in clear contrast to members of Congress who go down to events in Mexico City to say Guatemala first, America second. This is the story of Congresswoman Delia Ramirez, who went to an event in Mexico City and said, I'm a proud Guatemalan. She said, I'm a proud Guatemalan before I'm an American. As far as I am concerned, and shame on Speaker Johnson for not moving on this fast enough, as in it should have already happened. The House should be convened and she should be expelled. To say that you are Guatemalan before you are American is an act of treason, and she should be dealt with in this way. And if you're from another country, allow me to say, if you think your other country is better than the United States and you live in the United States, you're wrong and you're shameful. You're not celebrating your heritage. That's garbage. It's garbage. When my grandmother came from Poland, she never once said, by the way, Poland was the best. No. Poland sucked. I like Poland today. I want the United States to have closer ties with Poland today. Poland that survived communism, survived the Nazis, and understand what America was as a force for freedom and creating the better lives that they have today. Oh, do I like the Poles. My grandmother grew up in dirt and escaped Poland before all the hell came. Escaped Poland in the 1930s. Never once thought Poland was better than the United States. To be an American was everything. Representative Congresswoman Delia Ramirez, you don't get to be a congresswoman. To hell with you. If you think where you came from is more important than where you are, you're wrong. That is not being proud of your heritage. That's being an awful person. We're not going to agree to disagree. You should be thrown out of Congress, never allowed to return. The stories of Ilhan Omar saying that she puts the interests of Somalia first, and it will always be her job to put the interests of Somalia first. Dual loyalty, Ilhan Omar? What? She can say it about the Jews? I can't say it about her after her own statement? Stop it. Of course I can. Of course I can. The border is going well. Very, very well. And I'm thrilled to see it. In the efforts to make things safer, of course, there has been detentions from ICE, Immigrations and Customs Enforcement. We have seen that they have these facilities, and they've come up with some more facilities. And one of them in Florida is now called Alligator Alcatraz. Right there in the Everglades, there in the swamps. Alligator Alcatraz. And they built it quick. And people are like, that's funny. That is funny. I know it's such a serious subject, but it's a little lighthearted. But really, it's to get to the idea of these things do matter. And now they're going to do another one. And to do this other one, they came to my beloved Indiana. Let me say for the record, Hoosiers have absolutely no issue with this. The Indiana Democratic Party does, but the Indiana Democratic Party is the most mealy-mouthed, weak group of people ever. They have not put forth an actual idea in years. They don't win statewide office here. They win some local races, and they are smart enough to at least run somebody in every race, something the Republicans don't do. They've got a supermajority in the General Assembly. They've got the governor's mansion, and they like to rest on their laurels with that. It's going to shoot them in the foot one day. They should be tougher, stronger, smarter, but they refuse to. I once had the head of the Republican Party tell me in Indiana, well, you can't run every race. Of course you can. That's your job. And if you're not doing it, leave. Don't tell me there's only so much money. You have to convince the donors this is the plan. Here's the strategy. You have to go out and execute. If you can't do that, don't be in charge. It was one of the weakest answers that has ever come my way. Hoosiers absolutely favor a strong, secure border, and they know that Indiana just like any Midwest state, just like any Southern state, just like Oklahoma, just like Tennessee, border states, Missouri, border states, Illinois, outside of Chicago, border state. We get this. We understand this. So Hoosiers are fine with places in Indiana being used by ICE to detain people, see if they can be properly deported, and then moving forward on that. So they are going to be doing this. They are going to be putting this in a place called Miami County. It's where the Miami Correctional facility is, and it's going to be an expansion there, an extra 1,000 beds. And it's very close to what's known as Grissom Air Force Base. So you have a runway and you can deport people. They're calling it the Speedway Slammer. And here's where it gets weird. The Speedway, of course, refers to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, which is in Indianapolis, actually the town of Speedway, if you want to get a little more technical. This place is unbelievable. If you have never been to the Indy 500, you have no concept of what you're possibly missing. No sporting event in the world comes close. I don't care what other places do. They don't have 300,000 plus of their closest friends and neighbors hanging out. They just don't have it. They don't have the sounds. They don't have the pageantry of the Indianapolis 500 and the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. They don't have it. This place is remarkable. It is remarkable how the 500 works, how the month of May works. The whole month of May is all focused on this, and the entire state is there. And the Indianapolis Motor Speedway is referred to as the Speedway. And when the Trump administration made this announcement, Kristi Noem made this announcement, and there's the facility, and then they've got an Indy car in front of it. The Indy car is the number 5 car. The number 5 car, producer Landon, belongs to who? Pato O'Ward. That is correct. And where's Pato O'Ward from? He's from Mexico. That was a pretty bad usage of an Indy car. You picked the guy from Mexico to be next to a facility utilized by ICE. Oh, so much so that IndyCar, owned by Penske, Roger Penske, friend of President Trump, has said, hey, we don't get into the politics. Please don't use our intellectual property in this way. Allow me to go a step further. The idea of a facility here in Indiana is just fine. Can't use the name Speedway. The Speedway connects to a place that brings hundreds of thousands of people together, millions of fans who are watching this race, never mind, listening on radio, and millions online. Don't make it in any way political, and don't make it about you. We've come up with the Cornfield Clink, the Hoosier Hooskow. Oh, we've got a lot of names for it, for sure. I've even decided you can go full meta and call it Not Breakaway, which, if you know Hoosier movies, that's good. That's a good line. People are bothered by the name Speedway Slammer. It's a mistake. The concept, not a mistake. The name, yeah, somebody didn't think this through. This is Tony Katz today. Yeah, I'm looking at that right now. I got your story from WTOC, and I'll put the other things together right now. Just getting updates on this active shooter in at Fort Stewart. The lockdown has been lifted, so this doesn't seem to be an active shooter situation any longer. And I'll update the radio audience. 5 have been shot. I do not have anything about deaths at all, which I hope remains the case. As I have more information, I'll get it to you. And I think I'm starting to lose my voice. You're like, well, it's the cigar. No, it's actually not the cigar. Also, I think I got to bring the camera down. It's too high, right? It's too much, too much, too much. And also, I did promise. I did say I don't think it's professional. I love the shirt, but I don't think it's professional to do this in short sleeves. And I don't want to wear a suit every day I do the show. So I have long sleeves on order, and then that's that. So now you know. Now you know a whole bunch. The cigar is from Oliva. This is the Serie V Milanio box press Robusto. So 5-inch by 50. I think this is great cigar. A perfect anytime cigar. I found an incredible deal on these. This is a beautiful piece. They've been doing this cigar for years, and for years it has been fantastic. It just true. It really does fit the bill of what a cigar is. It's a beautiful wrapper. It's got the right amount of oil to it. Wonderful. So Oliva, Oliva, sometimes pronounced Oliva or Oliva. Your choice. And yes, Dragon, I know there was no sound earlier. That was on my end. We fixed that. That was absolutely on my end. Got that taken care of. How soon till we're back? Okay, so less than a minute. Sounds very, very good. Very good indeed. You got it. So just checking on some stuff. So now I see that there's a new image of an Indy car in front of the detention facility, and the Indy car says ICE on it now. Nope, it's still the number 5. It says ICE, but still in the number 5. I never noticed the ICE before. The update out of Georgia, Fort Stewart, Georgia, is that 5 people have been shot. The lockdown has been lifted. Tony Katz today. Good to be with you. All soldiers treated on site and moved to the Wynn Army Community Hospital for further treatment, as is being reported from the local affiliate WTOC. There is no active threat to the community. This got reported at 11 a.m., just before 11 a.m., about a shooting. The shooter, according to the reporting now, apprehended at 11:35. We do not have a motive. We do not know about life and death. We don't know any of these things, and information is still fluid. It is going to change, but when there is an active shooter on an Army base, we are paying very, very close attention. FBI coordinating with the Army on any assistance that might be needed. President Trump has been briefed. Governor Brian Kemp of Georgia was briefed, asking for prayers for those involved. This is all we have right now. That 5 were shot on Fort Stewart, which is the largest Army base east of the Mississippi, has over 8,000 soldiers. The Army base was placed under lockdown at approximately 11 a.m. It is now no longer on lockdown, according to the reporting. You had the shooter in custody at 11:35. No idea who the shooter is. We do not know if this is somebody who is part of the base, somebody who got onto the base, if there was a breach, where there was a breach. Don't have the answers yet. for those questions. That's going to come. We're going to get to it. Right now, we just don't have it. So I wanted to give you the update, give you the story that's going on there, and we're gonna follow it. And we're also hearing from Fox News that there are no, at this moment, confirmed fatalities. Now, again, that's what we all want. That is what we all want. There's going to be a conversation that comes from this, because we've had this before. So I don't believe I'm speaking at a school here, regarding exactly how prepared are those on a military base to deal with these issues, because very often there are those on military bases who don't have access to their weaponry. You know that on October 7th, when we talk about the Israelis attacked by Hamas, this despicable, disgusting terrorist organization that should be destroyed, they didn't have weapons. The weapons were kept in an armory. Hamas knew this, and when the Israelis ran to the armory after hearing about the attacks and the infiltration, Hamas and others were waiting there to kill them. There might be some things that need to change. Keep it here. This is Tony Katz Today. So, guys, we'll have more on this coming up in a little bit. So here's where we're at. We are in the radio break. And because we're in the radio break, we will take the break right here. We'll be back in a little bit. So my advice, smoke them if you got them. I have them, so I'm going to smoke them. Yes, of course, I have tried Horse Soldier bourbon. Fine stuff. Expensive stuff, but fine stuff. Here in Indianapolis, we have Hotel Tango Distillery, which I've done some work with and did a barrel pick with. Their 10-year. Their 10 years a knockout. Absolutely terrific. I did a barrel pick that I absolutely love. Terrific. And then, of course, they do the Schmallow, which is the marshmallow whiskey. It's really good. I'm not going to lie. Totally sticky, but it's very, very, very good. It is good stuff. So we take the break. Smoke them if you got them. We'll be back soon enough. Just keep it here, guys. We'll be right back. Oh! Futterman von Riest. Look at that. That is the Rudin record right there. That is the chronograph. Love this timepiece. You want to get yours at Von Riest, Rieste, vonriest.com. That's where you get all your timepieces assembled in Indiana, right here in the United States. Incredible timepieces. You're going to love the entry point on a lot of these watches, and you can wear this as your Sunday watch. You can wear this for special occasions, however you want to do it. It can take the heat, and I'm pretty sure this is exhibition back, right? Yeah. There it is. Yeah. Trust me on this. Go to Von Riest, use my last name, Katz, K-A-T-Z, and get your discount. VonRiest.com, use promo code Katz, and get your discount. Keep it here, guys. We'll be back in just a few. Welcome back, everybody. Tony Katz. That's me. What's up? Tony Katz today. Good to be with you. I did not adjust the camera. I was supposed to. God, if I would just focus a little bit. So no other news right now. I don't believe we have any other updates regarding this shooting that took place at Fort Stewart in Georgia. I don't believe we have any more statement from the White House or anybody else. I don't think that President Trump has made statement to this. So we will we'll follow that story as we need to. I am going to get into this thing with the WNBA. I'll say this to you because we're not on the radio part yet. If I knew the extent that I would have to talk about, how do I say this, producer Landon? There's a serial toy thrower on the loose. See, the joke that I was going to tell is if I knew I was going to have to talk this much about dildos and I wasn't talking about the Democratic Party, I'd be shocked. It's not a bad joke right there. See what you could do there online that you can't do on radio? Oh, very freeing. Very, very freeing. But there's a story here in all of this that has to be addressed. It has to be discussed because there's something very weird going on. And I don't think it's being handled properly at all. And you're like, it's a WNBA, whatever. It's nope. They can't have it. And maybe it's just me. I just don't even think it's funny. It's messed up stuff. Very, very messed up stuff. Meanwhile, we will get to that. I feel like I'm missing one more story. Am I missing a story? Is there anything I should be talking about? I'll do it. I'll do it right now. You decide. You decide. I will talk about it. Oh, I've got that. And you know what? I've got a couple things. I've got a couple things that I will get to. All right, we'll come back to the radio show. So, first of all, I'm Tony Katz. The show is Tony Katz today. I'm smoking the Oliva right here. This is the Melanio, the Oliva V Melanio. And this is the natural right here. Box press, 5x50. I think it's a great cigar, all-weather cigar. You can do this anytime. Bring it to friends. Do it. Terrific, terrific smoke. The radio show is going to begin. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube to youtube.com/Tony Katz and Twitter X Tony Katz. Let's go. Yesterday, I was discussing banking and how President Trump was discussing dealing with banks who push conservatives out. Well, as the story has grown, we get this from Charles Gasparino writing over at the New York Post. Tony Katz, that's me, by the way. Tony Katz today. What's going on? Good to be with you. Find everything at tonykatz.com. I once had Gasparino on the show once, and I was like, that was enough for me. I just thought, as a guest, egotistical and condescending. As somebody who can talk about economic things, he's certainly shown himself to have at least opinions. This story is that people have let the New York Post know that both JP Morgan Chase, or JP Morgan, I should say, and Bank of America debanked President Trump for his role in the January 6th Capitol Hill melee. That's how they describe it. What was his role? Go peacefully and protest? No. There was no role played by President Trump in that regard because he did not go in. Now, I have argued that there are things I would have liked to have seen President Trump do faster, with more speed. I don't care if he was mad at then Vice President Pence or not. The vice president needs to be protected. Send in whoever you have to send in to protect him. Don't get it twisted. This is the fault of Nancy Pelosi based on her own words. She did not have the security apparatus in place. 1,000%. I put it on the speaker in terms of security. I put it on the Capitol Police who invited people into the Capitol. I put it on those who engaged in actual violence. Never once have I stated that Donald Trump engaged in a riot or engaged in incitement. That never happened. Never. But these banks said, nope, you got to go. The story here is that they got pressure. Who pressured them? People at the banks tell the New York Post that Biden's banking cops at the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, the FDIC, and the Federal Reserve, they're the ones who engaged in the pressure. And they pressured all sorts of people to do all sorts of things. When we talk about the authoritarian ways of the political left, you notice they're always calling Trump an authoritarian. Everything about Trump is authoritarian. Everything about Trump, he's trying to be a dictator. He's trying to do this. He's trying to do that. The concept, if I have it right, and the psychologists will tell me if I've got it wrong. This is the concept of projection. We know what we're doing, but we'll say this is what somebody else is doing. We will say this is what others are doing. Right? They want to call Trump a dictator, so they say things like this.
But let me tell you something. Don't leave them out on a ledge by themselves. They need to know that you, the American people, stand with them because they are standing for you. There's so many people that they will never meet, but they understand the importance of making sure that they have a voice when it comes to their government. They understand the importance of standing for what democracy is and making sure that it does not fall by the wayside. They understand that we have a Timu Hitler in the White House right now that thinks that he is going to become the dictator of the United States.
That's Jasmine Crockett referring to the president as Timu Hitler, right? That site where you can buy cheap Chinese goods, which is, I'm assuming, where they found Jasmine Crockett. What? No, you can't make a joke about Jasmine Crockett being cheap? She can make a joke about Trump being Hitler, but what do you know about that? The authoritarians are the ones who said, hey, you can't have this guy as a client anymore. No. We'll make your life very difficult if you have them as a client. No. We will hurt you if you have this guy as a client. And that's exactly what took place. A bit of if I need to translate it for you, I will. Hey, nice business you have there. Be a shame if something happened to it. That's the same thing. They are the ones who scream authoritarian, and they are the ones who act in the authoritarian way. It's a worthwhile story because it's a great understanding of exactly how these progressives work, which is going to lead into a conversation. I haven't already heard it, my conversation with Ed Morrissey of hotair.com regarding the redistricting. He lives in Texas, giving a little insight there about how weak the argument is. Horrifically weak is the argument that the left is making regarding the redistricting. There's nothing about this that is against the law. It is a political maneuver. It's absolutely acceptable. 1,000% acceptable. What do they say? This is cheating, and this is stealing, and this is rigging. And then you have a whole series of governors who are going out there and saying, well, if Republicans do this, we're going to do this. This was Governor Healy of Massachusetts.
But Abbott, Paxton, Trump, they leave states with no choice. I want to make sure that people have access to health care. I don't want to see further cuts to Medicaid or to housing or to veterans or to poor little kids who need to eat. Okay? So that is why it becomes an issue for a governor in New York and a governor in Illinois and a governor in Massachusetts, governors all around the country. I'm sorry?
You're planning to perhaps move forward on a redistricting plan in Massachusetts?
We just did that. We're going to follow the rules. I don't know if the Secretary of State wishes to comment, but we just went through a customary and orderly process just a few years ago.
It's Massachusetts. They have no Republicans in the House. None. So if she's going to play the game that Governor Gavin Newsom is going to play and other governors, if Texas does this, we're going to gerrymander our states. Who are you possibly threatening here? But since doing the threat is what they were all ordered to do, and they all speak in the same voice on the same subjects about the same things in the same way, and if you go out of that orthodoxy, you are vilified, just as Senator John Fetterman vis-a-vis Israel, that she's got to make herself look like the fool. And note how wrong it is. Gerrymandering is so wrong that if you don't stop doing it, we'll do it too. But the reality is they're already doing it. There's nothing new here. They already do it in state after state after state after state. It's already happening. And you can argue, well, Tony's red states, Republican states do this too. Yeah, I'm fully aware. And we want to change things altogether. I'm fine with it. But the argument that somehow this is illegal and this is rigging the system, that's not true. This is political. And you may not like the politics, but it happens. You be the ones to change that. That is absolutely fine. You're not going to get an argument. I don't know if it's so political or maybe it's going to become necessary. When Trump starts talking about federalizing D.C., so you had this Doge employee. Did we ever find out his real name? Oh, Edward Korstein? Yeah, a teenager. He was known as Big. Am I allowed to say that on air? Right? Big, what is the word I'm looking for? Balls. Okay, I said enough. That was his handle, I guess, his avatars, whatever the case may be. He got attacked in DC. Violently attacked. The picture of him, I didn't realize it was him. I guess he was trying to help some woman. He got attacked, bloodied from his nose all the way down his pants, blood everywhere. And Trump writes, the most recent victim was beaten mercilessly by local thugs. Perhaps it should have been done a long time ago. then this incredible young man and so many others will not have to go through the horrors of violent crime. If this continues, I'm going to exert my powers and federalize this city. Make America great again. This actually goes in a line of thinking about states that have progressive-run cities. We understand this. Big cities are Democrat strongholds, even in red states, and they're run by progressives who can't actually run a city. You pick the city. The reality is the same. New York, Chicago, San Francisco, Los Angeles. Can we discuss Memphis or my beloved Indianapolis, which is chock full of ineptness, and if it wasn't for the power of this state, things wouldn't happen there? This is happening everywhere. And you have these conversations where states say, should we be getting involved in what happens in our capital cities? Should we be getting involved in what happens in our most major cities? Because what happens there does affect the rest of the state. There is an effect. There's an effect on tourism. There's an effect on convention business, a whole assortment of things. And then people get outraged. You can't be violating the sovereignty of this city. The ideology is destructive. You think DC works? DC doesn't work. This doesn't work. This is growing. Now, what's interesting is that New York is reporting that shootings are down in a major way. Their reporting is that New York cities have plunged to record lows this year. That's an incredible thing to see. By the way, they've had 412 shooting incidents just in 2025, and that's the lowest it's been in years. So are we seeing a change in how these things are done? Less shootings, more violent attacks? I don't know. But we certainly can't say that DC is going swimmingly. Far from it. I don't think Trump's going to do it. But that threat should bring about this conversation that states have already been having. When cities fail, what is the role of the state? When prosecutors, as we see in many of these states, refuse to prosecute the crimes, what is the role of the state? Do they have a role to play in ensuring that every citizen of the state is covered, protected, looked after based on the law? Now, DC is not a state, but the same thought process applies. I don't think Trump's going to do it. I think he should, just to see what could happen. That is the testing ground for can it get better. Keep it here. This is Tony Katz Today. that. What? What the heck? Lost my camera. Lost my whole camera. That was so weird. Welcome back. Tony Katz. Tony Katz today. Good to be with you. Glad to see all the people that are here. Every day at noon, we are live streaming the show and smoking a cigar and relaxing. I don't know how other guys do it. This is how I do it. Sometimes it's about the story. Sometimes it's about a thought. Sometimes it's about sex toys in the WNBA. If I knew this was going to be the topic, ladies and gentlemen, this is not why I signed up for radio. That is not it. But I'm going to discuss it. Break this all down. Happy to do it. Smoking the Oliva or the Oliva Serie V Milano right here. First one of the day. Probably won't be the last one of the day. Howard Stern, they are canceling his. They're not canceling his contract. They're not renewing his contract, as I understand it. Over there at Sirius. Two things about Howard Stern. First, change what radio is. Change what the talk component is. Was the best interviewer of his generation, bar none. Period. End of list. And like David Letterman, the older he got, the more of a disappointment he became. A ridiculous political fool, embarrassing himself, and in every way saying, I already got my money. I'm going to change. Never meet your heroes. It's the same philosophy. Huge disappointment is Howard Stern in these later years. But what he did for radio, incredible stuff. It's the third game this year where the WNBA has had somebody throwing a sex toy onto the court. This one actually hit Sophie Cunningham. Tony Katz. Tony Katz today. Guys, good to be with you. Live streaming, you can find us on the YouTube at Tony Katz, on the Twitter X at Tony Katz as well. You should go and be a part of that and check all that out. Wherever you sit on the WNBA is totally up to you. I'm not going to tell you have to like the league. I'm not going to tell you have to like the game. You don't have to like the players. Here's what I will tell you. Caitlin Clark is the face of the league, and the only reason the league is doing has any attention to it right now at all. Caitlin Clark is the only reason money comes to the league, and others are starting to understand how to benefit from that. Angel Reese is a terrible basketball player. I don't care what you call me. She's a bad player. She cannot hit the shot. And nobody is watching for her except to say, oh my gosh, have you seen how bad she is? That's it. The Chicago Sky could say anything they want. That's the name of the team. She's not good. The WNBA now flies private. The WNBA now has these opportunities solely and exclusively because of Caitlin Clark. Some recognize this. The vast majority of the league, resenting this and hating her, went about attacking her in every single way they could. It was gross. It was disgusting. She has to be able to deal with playing on the court, but some of these things are nuts. She's now been out for 8 games, 9 games with this injury. This injury is brought about by a league that has no interest in saying that we are going to call fouls and throw people out. No interest in its future. That seems to be true. As you have seen now, this is the third game where someone has thrown a sex toy onto the court. I do not know why the WNBA is putting up with this. I don't know why the fans are putting up with this. I don't know why the players are putting up with this. I don't quite get what I'm seeing here. First, if you're doing that, you're a scumbag. The people throwing things onto the court are scumbags. If you throw snowballs with batteries in them at the Philadelphia Eagles or whoever they're playing, and when we go back to the old stadium there, old veteran stadium, scumbag. If you throw things at a player while they're engaged, hockey, soccer, baseball, scumbag. You're just the lowest of the low. You're not funny. You're not interesting. You're a jerk. You should go to jail. It's assault. I would say it's assault with a deadly weapon, but man, that's going to lead to its own jokes. That's rough. You should go to jail. And if you throw things on the court, just like if you block traffic, you should expect to get hurt. Tony, are you advocating for violence? I am stating that people who engage in violence shouldn't be surprised when violence comes their way. Blocking traffic is a violent act. Throwing things at people is a violent act. You shouldn't be surprised if you end up with one or two black eyes. You shouldn't be shocked. I can't believe this isn't happening already. The WNBA should be pressing charges against these people because you can find out. You've got cameras in the crowd. What, only Coldplay has cameras facing the crowd? You can find out. You should be pressing charges publicly, proactively. You should be going after people in their homeowners policies. You should be going after everyone they're associated with. Make it stop. Guys, you can mock the WNBA all you like. You're not going to get me bothered. You can like the WNBA. It's fine by me. Knock yourself out. This is about what it is we're going to accept. Explain to me the society that says men should not be able to compete in women's sports because we should respect women and then throw sex toys on the court where women are playing. Do the math. Make it make sense. It doesn't make sense. It's insane. And people who want to make fun of it, dear Lord, this isn't the 5th grade. Time to act like men. You can mock the league and you can mock the play. I mock Angel Reese. I'll do it to her face. I'll do it in front of her mother. She's bad. I'm saying this. I suck. She might actually be better than me. The problem is I'm saying might because I'm not really sure. She's a bad player. See that? That's easy. That's allowable. You want to throw things at people? If we're okay with this, we're nuts. We're nuts. We're out of our minds. We're going to say it's all right to assault women as long as it's a girls' or a women's basketball game? Holy cow. Charge these people. And if you're a fan who sees this, you know what to do. I'm Tony Katz. Oh, I'm going to get yelled at. I'm going to get yelled at. Screw it. Screw it. Oh, good Lord. It's I'll just leave it be. I got an email from LinkedIn that says my expertise is required. I'm pretty sure I don't that they don't need my expertise. I'm pretty sure that's just something they send out and are asking for money. They can't have it. Good question, Kenneth. Whatever happened to streaking in your tennis shoes during a sporting event? I don't know, man. What happened to a good streaking? That's a great point. Those were the days. The security guards don't want to tackle the naked guys. Well, then, more opportunity. 1,000% more opportunity. So, guys, with that, I appreciate you. I gotta run. You can listen at WIBC.com. You should do that. And of course, every day here from noon, starting at noon, and you can hear the show. Don't forget to get your tickets for myself and actor, director, producer Nick Searcy from Hollywood to the Heartland. Tickets.TonyKatz.com. That's where you go. Tickets.TonyKatz.com. A night of bourbon, cigars, great barbecue, an incredible, incredible night. You are going to love it. August 23rd. You got to come out. You got to come out. You got to check it out. You got to be a part of it. Tickets.TonyKatz.com. It's going to be absolutely amazing. I hope to see you there. I'm glad to see all of you. Great group today. I'll be back tomorrow at noon. So tune in and we'll do this thing right here. Guys, I appreciate you. I gotta run. I gotta run. I'll catch you guys. Wait, there it is. Take care.